Scupper inside ESPN.com here on the latest edition of Hockey Today, the podcast. We hear from Jack Eichel of the Buffalo Sabres. Glenn Healy drops by to talk Olympics. And Bob Hartley drops by to talk about what he's up to these days.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
Here's Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
Uh-huh.
We are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What are we doing?
We get the people!
Yes!
What they want.
I did not get what I wanted from that Cavs-Warriors game. I actually attended the game. I was so excited. I had a playoff type of feel in my body. And the Clippers did not deliver.
Are the Clippers for real?
We received a voicemail question from a legend, from the co-host of our show. And he had a very simple question, and that question was this.
Are the Clippers for real?
We now have an answer.
They are right.
No, they're not for real.
But they're not real.
They're all right, but they are not real.
But I have to stress what expectations I want fans to have. Okay. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors have established themselves as being the clear-cut favorites to win their conferences. Mm-hmm. But you have to give a wink to the San Antonio Spurs, especially since they throttled the Golden State Warriors by 29 points this year. Yep. And to the Clippers, who've had a core group of players together
no more winks
for a handful of years.
No more winks, Jalen.
But where I'm trying to go is there's a Cavs and Warriors level, and then you have to go down a couple of levels to get to the other teams. And that's what really played out, because just so you know, I think the game that we both were at was actually a preview to the Western Conference Finals, whether you like it or not.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like Blake. I didn't like Chris Paul. I didn't like they didn't play J.J. Redick. It just didn't seem like... You know what else happened, Jalen? The Warriors didn't even play well. Like, I was watching this game, the Warriors didn't play well. KD did not play well. Like, he really didn't. Steph Curry was okay. He was good going to the basket. Klay Thompson wasn't shooting great. It just wasn't a well-played basketball game, and the dominance was such that it never felt competitive. It only got competitive when Jamal Crawford just hit a couple miraculous three-pointers.
So this is where I go from being like just an analyst that's a former player that loves the game to a position of, if I was running a team, what I would do. And I don't like to do this.
Ooh, I like this.
I truly don't like to do this.
Blow up the Clippers right now. Blow up the Clippers.
So when I have a big game against a team that we saw eye to eye with a handful of years ago, that just ascended, won a championship, won 73 games, and added Kevin Durant. When I look out on the floor, I don't want to have to look up at the score. You know what I want to see? I want to see dog fight out of my squad.
Not getting that.
I want to watch the game and not look at a stat sheet and be like, okay, we'll look up at the score and see what happens the last 2 minutes. Like, that's what I want to see. I'm one of those kind of people that can watch a football game and literally watch the line of scrimmage and not necessarily watch the ball get snapped, because I can kind of tell what's about to happen with the play. What truly disappoints me, and not to overstate the productivity of these players, but when Jamal Crawford and Maurice Spates outscore or equal the total output that I'm getting from Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin, 3 of those guys are going to be in this year's All-Star game. Another guy you mentioned, J.J. Redick. Hey, Doc, you need him out there. 21 minutes? He's your knockdown three-point shooter.
I know Austin's your son. I get it. He's your son. But J.J. Redick needs to be on the floor more.
And so I came away with a conclusion. I, like so many people, feel like Blake, 12 to 15 feet away. Do a face-up, do a jab step, and just drive either way and make a move.
Do you know what it felt like to me? It felt like he was a little shut down by DeAndre. By Draymond.
Or catch it on the post, do a move towards the do a move towards the middle and do a jump hook over your left shoulder, or do a spin baseline and overpower Kevin Durant, who you physically oppose, or Draymond Green, who you're just athletically superior to.
It didn't look like he was athletically superior to Draymond Green last night. It looked like he got it in the post, and he did this. Banged into him once, banged into him twice, banged into him two again, and then quickly, without settling himself, threw something at the basket and missed.
So again, from the perch that I want to look at this game from, I say, why is he not doing what I think he should do? The spacing is a little distorted. Here's why. When Blake has the ball, where's DeAndre?
Other side of the basket.
He's underneath the basket. And you know what you can do in today's NBA? You can now load the paint. Mm-hmm. And you have 4 guys that's suffocating that area of the floor once Blake puts the ball down, because he can shoot, but he's not a knockdown shooter. And if I'm coaching the game and Blake's not hot and he drifts out to shoot a 3, I almost cursed. And that's something I haven't done in 12 or 13 years.
I've never heard you curse.
I'm really going to take him out of the game. He took 2 threes in yesterday's game.
And a bunch of jump shots. They were letting him shoot.
I call that drifting. That's what big guys do.
I think Draymond made
when they don't want that physical pounding in the paint.
Here's what Mo Spates said about the team after the game. And this is really interesting because we know where Mo Spates played last year and where he's playing this year. He said this about his teammates. Quote, "First, we need to start really just leaving the refs alone. Guys just got to sacrifice. Do some other things than scoring. Do some other things than your personal goals. Just try something new." What is he saying to his teammates?
Blake Griffin had 5 turnovers in the first quarter when they got behind by 18 points. He ended up with 7. This is not a new revelation. But I'm on the hotline bling today, and between now and the trade deadline, he'd be off my roster.
You, if you were running the Clippers, would trade Blake Griffin.
I would. Because the distortion of the spacing takes place where if he's not going to be a face-up, knockdown shooter that now creates lanes for him to drive and create for JJ, Jamal, CP3, lob for DeAndre, I'm better off having to stretch 4. Just think about it like this.
I love this.
Blake Griffin is considered one of the most athletic players ever, 2010 and 4 guy. I'd rather have Ryan Anderson than him.
Wow. Real talk from Jalen Rose on Jalen and
now
Jacoby.
I have the spacing that I need for penetration. And so when I see a stat line of a guy that's athletically superior than the guys that he was going against, 20 shots, 7 turnovers, 12 points, I don't even want to look at him every day. So that's what I'd be doing. Because I can't trade DeAndre because I'm not going to get a center that can replace what he does. And clearly I can't replace CP at what he does. Blake has to be the bargaining chip, him and Austin.
Trade Blake. Just trade him.
And we putting it on wax.
Cavs went into Madison Square Garden to face the Knicks. There's a lot of discussion about Phil Jackson's posse comments, a lot of tension there.
It was a layup for me to just say, hey, Phil, LeBron's posse was on Broadway last night.
My posse's on Broadway. LeBron's posse was on the bench in a blowout game against the Knicks doing the water bottle challenge, trying to flip water bottles over to have it land straight up and down. Was that intentional? Was that disrespectful towards the Knicks?
As somebody that has been in the Garden and stood toe-to-toe versus Patrick Ewing, Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, John Starks, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley's alive and he was rolling over in his grave watching that.
Why's that?
That's the ultimate level of disrespect, to the point where I feel like they actually sat over there and tried to ponder the thing that they can do the most to troll the Knicks.
They were trolling.
Literally.
They were trolling.
And so this has nothing, like I said, with the Clippers game to do with the score of the game. When you're trying to build an identity and you're trying to create the kind of team, the type of organization that has some sort of moxie about itself that isn't necessarily judged by wins and losses. And just like I said about Blake Griffin, like Carmelo Anthony, you can't give me 10 points against LeBron James.
You're Carmelo Anthony.
But that's your man. I want to get in my belly voice. That's your man. And I need you to attack. I need you to go 1 for 19.
You know this is on national television, right?
I would rather see that.
You know we just won 7 of 9. People are talking about us as a real contender, right?
And so there's going to be a lot of talk about his comments toward Phil and what Phil had to say about LeBron.
Phil was saying that the ball was sticking to Carmelo. Carmelo didn't want to talk about it.
But let me tell you something. There are 15 guys that got paid to put on uniforms, gym shoes, and socks yesterday. And he was the highest paid individual on his roster. And so when LeBron does that, you got to remember, when Phil made those comments, what did Carmelo Anthony have to say?
Nothing.
When Phil made his comments about LeBron James and the posse scenario, which was ignorant in my mind, based on who he was talking about, Carmelo Anthony didn't agree with those statements. They were not seeing eye to eye. So you know how Phil want to get him back? I'm going to nudge you when your guy come to town. So now, in front of the entire world, you got your no trade clause. You trying to defend your man. Your man's blowing you out. You can't even get 10 points. Now, after the game, the first thing they're going to ask you is about what I said. It had nothing to do with the game.
He didn't want to talk about it. He left. But if you follow Carmelo Anthony on Instagram, he put up a post that was a not-so-veiled reference to Phil in the incident. Post said, quote, "Ego is the only requirement to destroy any relationship. So be a bigger person, skip the E, and let it go."
Like me.
Did you listen to anything I just said?
I did. And to the point where it was, and you're a great reader. You're a terrific journalist. You're one of the best in this industry.
I'm a great journalist. I'm a great journalist.
You're terrific
I'm
at what you do.
I'm a very serious journalist.
You're a highly trained individual.
I'm a very serious. I take this job very seriously.
Like NYU should have a tattoo on your forehead.
I can read.
Correct. I don't care about his Instagram posts.
Why not?
Because it's irrelevant. There's going to be a lot of talk about what the Knicks should do with Carmelo. The Knicks ain't choosing what happens with Carmelo. Carmelo's choosing what happened with Carmelo. And New York Knicks fans, guess what? He's going to dictate it on his terms. That's called a no-trade clause. So you can love it. You can dislike it. You can hate it. The Knicks will be in the playoffs. This ain't me just saying they won't make the playoffs. Porzingis is going to play at an all-star level. He's going to be a multi-time all-star. Carmelo is going to be in this year's all-star game. They'll be in the playoffs. Derrick Rose is going to show flashes. Missed his first game due to injury the other day. And we joked, did he have Kyrie-itis? Okay. He didn't miss the first game of the year.
I wouldn't want to guard Kyrie.
Nope.
But the Knicks ain't choosing what happens with Melo or their team. He's choosing.
Can I do something? Can I go down hypothetical highway for a second?
No.
What did you do? You traded Blake Griffin from the Clippers.
I did.
This segment, you said the Knicks aren't doing anything with Carmelo. Would he waive a no trade to the Clippers for Blake?
I've given this program for a year. The two teams that Carmelo Anthony will waive his no trade clause for. A couple of those guys he happened to love to vacation with.
The Banana Boat Crew.
One of them plays in Cleveland, named LeBron James.
There's no real deal that I could see.
And they're not giving up Kevin Love.
Yeah, I don't
not
see
going to be able to do it.
That's not working.
The other one could take place with Chris Paul in Los Angeles. I mean, Melo clearly has interest beyond basketball. He would love to be in a large market, which is why he left Denver, a productive team that he made it to the conference finals with, was still an all-NBA performer, still an all-star caliber performer, but he wanted to be in a bigger pond. So I'm drawing those parallels because if I'm Doc Rivers, if I'm Phil Jackson, between now and February, I'm swapping those players. So don't tweet me. Don't leave a voicemail about it. That's what needs to go down. Carmelo Anthony and Blake Griffin need to be switching uniforms immediately.
I love it. I have one thing for LeBron James. I've seen LeBron James do magical things on the basketball court. Inhuman athleticism. I've seen him perform with and without the basketball. You got to be better at the water bottle challenge, LeBron. Like, you're one of the best athletes in the world. I saw you 6 tries. You couldn't even get it once. Come on, LeBron.
Yep.
I have an update for you. Boogie Cousins still has Bill Simmons blocked on Twitter.
You think we're going to do one show and
Yes.
5 minutes later he's going to unblock it?
Yes.
Doesn't work
you
that
know
way.
He's looking at his notifications and he's like, what are they doing on Jalen Jacoby? Why is everybody tweeting at me, unblock Bill? Unblock Bill Simmons.
Here's what it's going to take. The Sacramento Kings either have to be in Los Angeles to play against the Lakers or the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. That's going to happen.
And we get the big fella to come in studio and join this fine program.
I would love that.
Which he's a VIP member, which he's a VIP member of, and esteemed donor of the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy.
So he's going to be in the room, and we're going to say, Boogie, you got to follow Bill. You got to unblock him.
That's when we can truly consider that taking place if you want it to happen at warp speed.
If he looked at me right in the face and was like, I'm not doing that, I'd be like, okay, cool, let's do the show then. Okay, that's fine.
Have to wait till the season ends. When he's out here working out, I'll grab you. I'll grab the Podfather. We will physically go to the gym.
We'll have a beer summit.
When Boogie is working out,
can I get some shots up?
We'll allow him to finish his workout.
Me and Bill will play you guys 2-on-2.
We'll take him to a nice brunch, and we clearly see that Hennessy can be a part of the equation.
Okay. Jalen Rose, before we record the program, oftentimes you will go to a vending machine in this building and you will pick up a certain type of chip snack.
Fritos, Doritos, Cheetos, Hot Cheetos.
I have some updated information about Cheetos for you. It's the holiday season. Cheetos is
I hope it ain't the news I heard about
lot
Fireballs.
of extension products available to you. You can now get Cheetos pants, a Cheetos scarf. There's Cheetos slippers. They have Cheetos perfume. What? And Cheetos bronzer to give you that Cheeto glow.
Hey,
I'm gonna get you some of this stuff for Christmas.
So here's the thing. This could truly happen. Our show is welcome to sponsors. We can have Cheetos.
If I buy you Cheeto pants, will you wear them?
We can change the name of the show to Cricket Radio, sponsored by Cheetos.
It'll be Cheeto and Cricket. We'll sell out.
We don't even have to change
that we can sell out.
It don't even have to. It can be CNC. Cheetos and Cricket.
Cheetos and Crickets all day. We'll have the logo just be a cricket eating a Cheeto. I love.
But
Cheetos.
no, if you just give me some of that gear,
I'll get you some of the Cheetos
I got
perfume.
it from you. I'll rock it.
All right, good. I'll get you the onesie. Let's see how you look in that. They released a trailer for the Baywatch reboot. The Rock diving into the Pacific Ocean and saving lives from burning boats. Zac Efron shirtless, driving around ATVs, slow motion female lifeguards jogging on the beach. I know you remember Baywatch. Did you watch Baywatch growing up?
I know about Baywatch. I didn't necessarily watch Baywatch. I remember the esteemed shot that everybody continues to point back to, Pam Anderson jogging, and we're not necessarily looking at how she's running as she bounces. But as I got older and I started to pay more attention to things that happened that were not necessarily related to someone's ability to act,
Okay.
I wasn't as enthused about that individual,
Really?
and I have not watched the show.
Okay. Well,
And I won't watch the one you just described.
I will. I'll let you know about it. I'll write you a little report after I see it. I'll literally write you a synopsis.
Okay.
Baywatch takes place on the beach. Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the Michigan Wolverines football team. He told a little story about going to the beach. Let's give it a listen.
I thought you were going to say something about Baywatch, magazine, Harbaugh. I thought you was really about to go there.
Nope.
First time I ever saw a palm tree, I remember we worked for hours to try to get a coconut out of the tree. We tried climbing, getting sticks. We tried shaking it. Finally, we just threw rocks at it till it came down. But then we didn't know how to open it, and then we tried to open it, and then we got it open with rocks and a curb, and then we ate it.
Midwest kid. I'm not surprised by anything in that story. I've done some. I'm
Why
telling
are you
you.
throwing rocks at coconuts on the beach? Where's there a curb on the
I can't troll or clown him about that.
I'm not trying to clown him. I'm just curious.
How
old was he when this happened?
There are no palm trees in the Midwest.
No.
Okay, he's born in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And as a fellow Michigander, when we get exposed to things, we get enthusiastic. And so, I've been there.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've been there.
I've seen you be really enthusiastic when you get exposed to things.
I'm speechless. Because if I was standing right next to him, I would have been throwing him as well. Can't front. Trying to see if it tastes as good or better coming directly from the tree, popping the coconut, no doubt.
Those are expensive, too. Coconut waters are pricey.
No question.
I've definitely gone to, the counter at 7-Eleven trying to buy coconut water and be like, what, $6?
Right, no, I'm
going
putting
right back to the fridge. No way.
Putting this back.
There was a press conference promoting a fight between Derek Chisora and Dylan White, a couple British heavyweights. The only reason people are talking about this press conference is because Derek Chisora lifted up a table and threw the entire table at his soon-to-be opponent. Do you support the table throw as a press conference ploy?
So, as someone that has done a lot of things that he isn't proud of,
okay,
when he got upset or angry,
I've seen it.
I don't like premeditation. And I'm going to take this somewhere that
why you don't prepare for the show? Is that why you don't prepare for the show?
I'm going to take this somewhere you didn't realize I was going.
Oh, no.
He actually had to look at the table, realize it was a movable object.
Mm-hmm.
He had to sit there, get upset at the individual, and then decide that I'm going to pick up the table and throw it, knowing it was going to turn into a real hold me back moment. So we're talking about it, and now because of such, maybe 1, maybe 10,000, who knows? More people are going to watch or care about the fight. So in theory, for anybody that's followed mixed martial arts or boxing, this happens in the press conferences.
So people talk about it.
To promote the fight.
Yeah. I'd like to congratulate Mick Jagger. Just had his 8th child at 73. He is simultaneously a brand new father of a newborn and a great-grandfather of a 3-year-old. Are you impressed?
I am impressed. And I learned not to judge because we don't know what truly makes him happy and or his mate.
Do you know what band he's the lead singer for?
The Rolling Stones.
My man. Thank you so much for listening on ESPN Radio.
You
for
be trying
watching
to make me answer
on
fast.
ESPN2 and ESPN News.
Like,
and subscribing to the Jalen and Jacoby podcast.
You're far too kind.
College football lives here. After starting 1-2, Oklahoma ended the season as one of the nation's hottest teams, winning 9 straight. Now they face their first SEC opponent of the season, number 14 Auburn.
They're not going to catch them. 75 yards, touchdown Sooners.
The All-State Sugar Bowl. Coverage begins Monday, January 2nd at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN and on ESPN Radio. Oklahoma has won 9 straight, the Big 12 title, and are ranked 7th in the nation. 14th ranked Auburn awaits. The All-State Sugar Bowl, Monday, January 2nd at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN and on ESPN Radio.